this is podcast psychology. Ever
Yeah.
feel like you're just running on repeat?
Mm-hmm.
Same frustrations, same roadblocks,
Yeah, definitely. Stuck in a loop sometimes.
Exactly. So what if you could actually steer your life in a new direction? And, like, what if that change could start, well, pretty soon, like in the next 30 days?
It's a powerful idea. We've been digging into Carl Jung's work, and he offers some really compelling thoughts on how to make that shift.
Okay, so moving beyond just reacting to stuff.
Exactly. Becoming an active participant,
Yeah.
Shaping things, that feeling of being stuck, it often comes from these ingrained patterns, right? What some call autopilot mode.
Autopilot, yeah.
It's like the subconscious is holding the steering wheel most of the time.
Okay, let's unpack the subconscious driver idea.
Yeah,
I like the iceberg image. It really sticks.
right.
Your conscious thoughts, the stuff you're aware of right now. That's just the tip, yeah.
Just the tip.
But the vast majority, like you said, 95%, it's this huge hidden underwater mass,
Mm-hmm.
the subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And this massive part is really kind of running the show,
Mm-hmm.
influencing how we act and react without us even realizing.
Precisely. Think about learning a skill, like riding a bike.
Okay.
At first, it takes all your attention, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Every little movement is a conscious decision.
Yeah, total concentration, wobbling all over the place.
Right. But with practice, it becomes second nature. Your subconscious just takes over. Our habits, our emotional responses, even our ways of thinking operate like that, like these deeply embedded programs.
And these programs aren't just random, are they? They're built from, well, everything we've experienced.
Yeah, upbringing, beliefs we picked up.
The emotional impact of things that happened.
Yeah.
The material we looked at had a really powerful example.
Mm.
Like, if you grew up constantly hearing, you're not capable,
Mm.
that message can sink deep down into the subconscious
Mm.
and still be messing with your decisions and how you feel about yourself today, even if consciously you think, no, that's not true.
Absolutely. It can affect how you face challenges, how you show up in relationships, all sorts of things.
So that brings up a big point. Why is it so hard to break free from these patterns then, if they're so deep?
Well, the subconscious is like a program that's been running for years, sometimes decades. It's not easily rewritten, it just keeps exerting its influence unless we consciously step in and say, okay, wait a minute, let's examine this, let's update it.
But the good news is, according to these insights, reprogramming is possible.
Yes, definitely.
The crucial first step, though, sounds like awareness, bringing these hidden processes out into the open.
You got it. You can't change what you're not even aware is happening.
So how do we start seeing this autopilot in action? The material suggests really paying attention to your reactions, like when you feel a really strong emotion, or maybe act in a way that surprises you.
Yeah, stop and ask yourself, why did that trigger me? What underlying belief might be at play here?
It's like finding the keys,
Right.
the specific keys that unlock those hidden patterns of thought and feeling.
And what becomes really clear when you start doing that is identifying those recurring situations. The ones that always end in frustration or feeling unfulfilled.
Ah, okay. So spotting the loops, like those repetitive arguments you always have in relationships.
Exactly. Or that feeling of being trapped in a job you really dislike.
Or even just that constant negative self-talk running in your head. The, I'm not good enough, or I'll probably mess this up stuff.
Mm-hmm. That internal monologue, those are the cycles.
Right, and these aren't just bad luck, are they? Often these cycles are directly linked to those deep-seated limiting beliefs or maybe unresolved stuff from the past.
Absolutely. Consider the example we saw. A child whose efforts were constantly dismissed or ignored.
Yeah.
They might grow up with this deep fear of taking risks as an adult. Subconsciously, they might believe, well, even if I succeed, it won't be valued, so why bother?
So they play it safe, but maybe miss out on things.
Exactly. At the cost of their own fulfillment.
And this really highlights the value of noticing our emotional responses then. Strong feelings, anger, sadness, anxiety, they can be signals.
Big signals. Often they mean one of these subconscious patterns has just been activated. The material actually suggests a practical exercise for this.
Oh yeah, what's that?
For a week, just dedicate maybe 10 minutes each evening to reflect on the day.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what moments made me feel genuinely uncomfortable or frustrated? What was my immediate reaction? And why do I think I responded that way?
Digging a bit deeper.
Yeah. And have I felt this way or reacted like this before? What deeper beliefs or fears might be behind this?
It sounds simple, but I can see how doing that consistently would be really eliminating.
Totally. It's about starting to recognize the patterns you might have been completely blind to before.
And, more importantly, understanding that these automatic responses aren't necessarily the absolute truth about you or the situation. They're learned behaviors, programmed by the subconscious.
And once you begin to see these cycles and the limiting beliefs feeding them, a fundamental shift can happen. You start to realize that in each moment, there's actually an opportunity to make a different choice.
Ah, okay, so that's where the agency comes in, the ability to choose differently.
That, according to this perspective, is where your real power lies.
The cumulative impact of those small, conscious choices must be pretty significant then.
It really is. It's like building something, brick by brick. Each decision, no matter how small it feels at the time, contributes to the larger structure of your life.
So what are you consciously choosing to build? That's the question. It can feel a bit daunting, I guess, thinking how deep some patterns are.
It can, yeah. But the core message here is that they are not set in stone. They can be reshaped.
And that's where this idea of a focused 30-day commitment comes into play, right?
Exactly. The material we looked at explains that our brains are kind of wired to form habits. And generally, something around 21 to 30 days of consistent effort is what it takes to start solidifying a new habit or really begin reshaping those old mental programs.
Like planting a seed. If you consistently water it for 30 days.
It has a much better chance of taking root and actually thriving. Yeah.
So this 30-day period isn't just about the time, it's about the consistent commitment.
Yes, that's key. We often get discouraged, don't we, and give up when we don't see huge results immediately.
Oh, definitely. We want the quick fix.
But genuine change is usually gradual. It's the accumulation of those small daily efforts that ultimately leads to a big transformation. The material used a great example of cultivating gratitude.
Okay.
Initially, trying to feel grateful might feel a bit forced, maybe artificial.
Yeah, like you're just saying the words.
Right. But after a week of consciously focusing on what you are thankful for, you might notice a subtle shift in your outlook. By the end of 30 days, it can become a much more natural, ingrained way of seeing the world.
And it's also about rebuilding trust in yourself, isn't it? I mean, we often find it easier to keep promises to other people than the ones we make to ourselves.
That's a really good point. Committing to a personal practice, even a small one, for 30 days is a powerful way of proving to yourself, hey, I can follow through.
And that newfound self-trust could then ripple out into other areas.
Absolutely. It builds momentum.
Of course, the material acknowledges it won't be all smooth sailing, right? There will be challenges.
Oh, for sure. There will be days you feel like giving up. Days when old habits just pop back up unexpectedly. You might even question if it's really making any difference.
Yeah, the doubt creeps in.
But those moments, the insights suggest, are often where the most profound growth actually happens. Each time you resist that urge to slide back into the old pattern, you're strengthening this new version of yourself. You're building resilience.
Okay, so how do you navigate those hurdles? The material recommended structuring the 30 days around simple, concrete actions.
Yes, keep it manageable. Start each day maybe by setting a clear intention. Something simple like, today I will consciously choose to move closer to the person I want to become.
Just a little reminder.
Exactly. Then identify one small, doable action you can take that day that aligns with that intention. Maybe it's, I don't know, spending 5 minutes journaling.
Or just catching one negative thought and challenging it.
Yeah. Or practicing a moment of mindfulness when you feel stressed. Small things. And then, at the end of the day, take just a moment to reflect. What did I do today that moved me in the direction I want to go?
Okay, that sounds practical. And what's really transformative about this, according to the material, is that by the end of those 30 days, the change isn't just about habits. It's deeper.
It's a fundamental shift in how you perceive yourself and what you're capable of. The material actually describes it as becoming unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable. How so? Not like physically different.
No, not outwardly. It's an internal evolution, a change in how you think, how you feel, and how you naturally respond to situations.
Okay, so think back to how you felt before starting this focused effort. Maybe doubting change was possible, feeling weighed down by the past. But after consistently making those conscious choices, you might realize that the old version of yourself, the one who felt stuck, it just doesn't resonate in the same way anymore.
Exactly. You've begun to shed those aspects of your identity that weren't really serving you, and you've cultivated qualities that better reflect your true potential.
And the insights point out this isn't about, like, rejecting your past self.
Not at all. It's more about reconnecting with your most authentic self, the one that was maybe buried under layers of fear and doubt.
So you become unrecognizable to that former self, the one who felt powerless or believed life just happened to them.
Precisely. Now you start to understand, really feel that your experiences are largely a result of your conscious choices and actions.
And what's really empowering is that this transformation doesn't just stop after 30 days, right?
Hmm.
It keeps going.
Right. The awareness, the practices you've developed, they become a new foundation. The changes you started can create this ripple effect, positively influencing, everything. Relationships, work, how you feel day to day.
You might start seeing limitations you thought were concrete walls were actually.
Self-imposed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You begin to dream a bit bigger, act with more courage, and most importantly, really believe in your ability to shape your own reality.
That's huge.
It is. Now, it's important to remember old patterns might still try to sneak back in sometimes.
Right. They don't just vanish forever.
No. But the crucial difference is you now have the awareness and the tools to consciously choose a different path when they do show up.
Yeah.
Every moment becomes another opportunity to make an intentional choice, reinforcing the person you're becoming.
So becoming unrecognizable isn't really a final destination. It's more like an ongoing journey of self-discovery, self-evolution.
Exactly. It's about embracing the idea that you, like life itself, are constantly evolving. And you have this inherent power to redefine yourself and create a life that genuinely reflects who you are right now at any point.
The ultimate takeaway here sounds incredibly empowering then.
Yeah,
You are the active creator of your destiny.
you really are. And each day is genuinely a new opportunity for growth, just by consciously taking control of your thoughts, your choices, your actions, those unconscious patterns that can keep you feeling trapped. They can be rewritten through focus and consistent repetition.
So this journey, drawing from Jung's deep understanding of, the human psyche,
Mm,
it might have its challenges for sure.
it likely will.
But the core message is clear. It's absolutely within your reach. It all starts with that first decision, that single act of choosing to be the architect of your life, not just a passive observer.
Well said.
So the final thought to maybe leave folks with is, what will you consciously choose to do starting today? Don't wait for some perfect moment down the road.
This moment is the moment.
Right now, take that first step to find a clear intention for the next 30 days and commit to just one daily action, however small, that aligns with the person you aspire to be. What will you choose to do, beginning right now?